When it comes to Hollywood romances, few love stories possess the timeless charm of Sam Elliott's, a tale not just of a rugged leading man with a signature mustache and a voice as deep as the Grand Canyon, but of a man whose journey to love was marked by both heartbreak and quiet perseverance. For decades, Sam Elliott's gravelly voice and steely blue eyes have captivated audiences. Yet the most poignant story of all remained largely hidden, until now. At 74, Sam finally opens up about the woman who has been the love of his life, a revelation that confirms whispers and rumors that have danced around for years, transforming this quiet legend into a tale of devotion, loss, and redemption. Born Samuel Pack Elliott on August 9, 1944, at Sutter Memorial Hospital in Sacramento, California, Sam's early life seemed as far from the Hollywood lights as one could imagine. His father, Henry Nelson Elliott, worked as a predator control specialist for the Department of the Interior, while his mother, Glenn Mamie Elliott, was a high school teacher. Despite his Californian birthplace, Sam's roots stretch deep into the heart of Texas, El Paso, to be precise, where his parents were originally from, a heritage that would one day define his career as the embodiment of the American cowboy. Sam spent much of his childhood in Oregon, having moved with his family to Portland at the age of 13. It was a simpler time, with days spent playing outdoors or glued to the silver screen, where a young Sam's fascination with storytelling and drama began to take root. By the age of 9, he was already certain of his calling. He wanted to be an actor. But for all his childhood dreams, his father remained a towering figure of skepticism, viewing acting as a frivolous pursuit, far removed from the stability of a respectable profession. Their conflicting visions for Sam's future created a chasm between father and son, a rift that was never fully healed. Henry Elliott passed away when Sam was just 18, leaving behind a haunting regret. The two had never reconciled, and his father had died believing his son was making a terrible mistake. Yet, in a bittersweet twist, it was this very loss that became the catalyst for Sam's relentless pursuit of his dream. After completing high school at David Douglas High School in 1962, he enrolled at the University of Oregon. He initially studied English and psychology, safe, conventional paths meant to appease his father's memory, but his heart was elsewhere. Dropping out, he moved back to Portland and completed a 2-year course at Clark College in Vancouver, Washington. It was here that his first taste of the spotlight came, in a college production of Guys and Dolls, where his performance was so compelling that the local newspaper declared he should take up acting professionally. The journey from an aspiring actor to a Hollywood icon was anything but smooth. When he finally made his way to Los Angeles, it was with a mixture of hope and desperation. By day, he toiled away in construction, hauling bricks and sweating under the California sun. By night, he sharpened his craft in acting classes, where he learned the discipline that would one day define his career. His first brush with fame came in the 1969 cult classic Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, though in a role so minor he was simply listed as card player number 2 Beyonce. It was hardly a star-making moment, but it was enough to keep him going. Fate, however, has a way of arranging unexpected encounters. Nearly a decade after that brief appearance, Sam would once again cross paths with Catherine Ross, the film's leading lady, this time on the set of the supernatural thriller The Legacy, 1978. But this was no fleeting connection. For Sam, it was love at first sight. Catherine, already a star with her unforgettable roles in The Graduate and Butch Cassidy, was drawn to the quiet intensity and rugged charm of this man who seemed so different from the polished, ego-driven world around them. What began as a professional partnership soon blossomed into a romance that would stand the test of time. Their love story was not the whirlwind of tabloids and paparazzi, but rather a slow, steady burn, the kind of bond built on shared values and quiet understanding. They married in 1984, a union that seemed almost inevitable to those who knew them. Sam, who had always shunned the trappings of fame, found in Catherine not just a partner, but a kindred spirit, someone who valued privacy over publicity, substance over spectacle. Together, they built a life away from the Hollywood chaos, choosing the serenity of a ranch in Malibu, where the mountains stood as silent witnesses to their devotion. Yet even as his personal life found stability, his career only grew. Sam became a fixture in westerns, his deep, resonant voice and imposing presence making him the perfect embodiment of the stoic, honorable cowboy. From Tombstone to The Quick and the Dead, he became the voice and face of a bygone era, a living legend whose every role seemed to echo with the spirit of the American frontier. But Sam never allowed himself to be boxed in. He took on diverse roles in films like Roadhouse, We Were Soldiers, and A Star is Born, proving his range and earning critical acclaim. Through it all, Catherine was his anchor. Their marriage, like any other, faced challenges, but their commitment to one another was unshakable. In an industry where relationships are often fleeting, theirs endured, a testament to the power of patience, trust, and unwavering support. When asked the secret to their long-lasting marriage, Sam would smile and say, "We spend a lot of time apart," a tongue-in-cheek nod to the reality of their demanding careers. But the truth was simpler. They never stopped choosing each other. Now at 74, Sam Elliott's voice may have grown a bit more gravelly, and his iconic mustache a touch grayer, but his love for Catherine remains unchanged, a love that has weathered the storms of life and the glare of Hollywood lights. In a world of fleeting romances and shattered promises, theirs is a story of enduring devotion, a rare and precious thing in a town built on illusions. And as Sam himself would tell you with that signature smile, sometimes the greatest stories are the quietest ones, the ones that happen far from the spotlight. Sam Elliott's slender build is unmistakable, but it's his voice, a gravelly, resonant baritone that seems to echo with the wisdom of 1,000 Western landscapes, that has become his signature. In 2017, he delivered a performance that was nothing short of masterful in The Hero, where he portrayed Lee Hayden, an aging Western legend grappling with cancer. The role was a poignant, reflective tribute to a life spent chasing dreams under the unforgiving sun of the American West. Yet, as audiences watched Sam bring Lee Hayden to life with a quiet, aching authenticity, whispers began to spread. Fans couldn't help but notice that Sam himself seemed thinner than they remembered. Was this just a brilliant performance, or was something darker lurking behind that weathered, mustachioed smile? Rumors swirled, fueled by the stark parallel between Sam's on-screen character's battle with illness and his own seemingly frail appearance. Speculation turned to fear. Did Sam Elliott have cancer? Was his commanding voice destined to be silenced by the same cruel twist of fate that claimed so many beloved stars? The whispers grew louder. Concerned fans scoured the internet for updates, desperate for some reassurance from his family or his agent. Was this their cowboy, their grizzled hero, quietly fighting a private war against a ruthless disease? Yet no statement of a terminal illness ever emerged. In fact, Sam's representatives consistently maintained that the actor was not suffering from any severe or life-threatening condition. But doubt is a stubborn shadow, and for some, the sight of Sam walking with a noticeable limp only deepened the mystery. Was this yet another sign of a hidden ailment? Was he struggling with pain that he chose to keep private, like so many of the stoic, silent heroes he had portrayed over the years? The truth, when it finally came out, was far simpler, yet no less impactful. Sam had indeed been struggling, but not with a terminal illness. Instead, he had suffered a buckle fracture and a broken pinky, a painful injury to his right foot that required a surgical shoe to aid his recovery. The limp that had fueled so much speculation was nothing more than a lingering consequence of this injury. In an interview, Sam revealed the incident with his characteristic humility, brushing off the drama with a wry smile. But for those who had feared the worst, his words were a balm. Their hero was still standing, still defying the odds, just as he always had. Resilience has always been a cornerstone of Sam Elliott's life. It was the force that drove him from Portland's rain-soaked streets to the sun-baked hills of Hollywood. It was the quiet determination that saw him transition from struggling bit-part player to a celebrated icon of film and television. And in 2018, that resilience was once again on full display as he stepped into a role that would redefine his career. In the critically acclaimed remake of A Star is Born, Sam portrayed Bobby Maine, the older brother and manager of Bradley Cooper's struggling country musician, Jackson Maine. It was a role rich with emotional depth, and Sam brought a raw, unflinching vulnerability to the screen, a performance that left audiences stunned. His gravelly voice, so often a symbol of strength, cracked with pain and pride in a pivotal scene where Bobby confesses his admiration for his brother. The world took notice, and for his efforts, Sam received his first Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor, a long overdue recognition for a career defined by quiet brilliance. Yet true to form, Sam did not rest on his laurels. Even as the industry celebrated his achievement, he continued to showcase his incredible range. In 2019, he headlined The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot, a fantastical, genre-bending film that allowed him to balance stoic heroism with a touch of melancholy. And while his silver screen exploits continued, Sam also embraced his comedic side, lending his iconic voice and deadpan delivery to shows like Parks and Recreation, Grace and Frankie, and The Ranch. He became a familiar, beloved presence in American pop culture, whether he was the wise, mustachioed cowboy, the grizzled mentor, or the voice of animated characters. But Sam's greatest weapon has always been his voice, a gift that has earned him a second career as one of Hollywood's most sought-after narrators. From the rich, smoky tones that have graced commercials for Dodge, IBM, Union Pacific, and the American Beef Council, to his unforgettable portrayal of Smokey Bear, a role he has maintained since 2008, Sam's voice is a symbol of trust, integrity, and rugged authenticity. It is the voice of the American West, of legends and campfire stories told beneath an endless sky. Even the NFL tapped his talents, making him the voice of Super Bowl 45's team introductions, while Ram Trucks has kept him as their spokesperson for over a decade. Yet for all his professional success, Sam's greatest pride has always been his family. After meeting and falling in love with Catherine Ross on the set of The Legacy in 1978, the two began a romance that defied the odds of Hollywood's fleeting relationships. They married in 1984, and later that same year, their daughter Cleo Rose was born. A talented musician with a voice all her own, Cleo has followed in her father's creative footsteps, carving out her own space in the music industry. Sam and Catherine, meanwhile, have built a life of quiet contentment, far from the flashing cameras and relentless gossip of Hollywood. Together, they have weathered the storms of fame and fortune, their bond growing only stronger with time. Today, Sam Elliott is a living legend, an actor whose rugged, weather-beaten face is instantly recognizable and whose voice can turn even the simplest words into a kind of poetry. His estimated net worth of $20 million is a testament not just to his talent, but to his perseverance, his willingness to take risks, and his refusal to be defined by the industry's narrow expectations. He has won countless accolades, including a National Board of Review Award for Best Supporting Actor for A Star is Born, and a Screen Actors Guild Award for his role in the series 1883. But these trophies and titles are mere symbols of something far greater, the respect and admiration of an audience that has watched him evolve from a young dreamer to an enduring icon. For Sam Elliott, the journey is far from over. Whether he is lending his voice to a new generation of animated heroes, stepping back into the saddle for another Western epic, or simply living quietly with Catherine on their beloved ranch, he remains a reminder of a different kind of Hollywood. A Hollywood where talent, humility, and hard work still matter. A Hollywood where legends are not just born, but made, one quiet, steady step at a time. Malibu, California, a place where the roar of the Pacific meets the whispers of ancient coastal winds. A paradise for many, but for Sam Elliott and Catherine Ross, it is a sanctuary. Their love story didn't ignite instantly, but rather smoldered slowly, like the warm, steady glow of a campfire. The first flicker of their connection came on the set of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Though they were both in the film, their paths didn't cross in the story. Catherine was already an established star, her name glittering in the firmament of Hollywood with unforgettable roles like Elaine in The Graduate. Sam, on the other hand, was just another actor among many, one more face in the background of a bustling set. All I could do was just watch Catherine come and go, Sam would later recall. She seemed like a distant star, brilliant and untouchable, while he felt like a shadow, too unremarkable to catch her eye. But fate is a patient playwright, and their true story wouldn't begin until almost a decade later. Their second encounter was no longer a brief, distant moment, but an electric one. It was on the set of the eerie British horror film The Legacy in 1978. This time, they weren't just two actors on the same set. They were co-stars, sharing scenes and sharing time. What had once been a silent admiration on Sam's part transformed into a mutual spark. There, among the foggy English landscapes and Gothic halls, their love story truly began. For Sam, who had always been somewhat in awe of Catherine, it was a dream made real. For Catherine, who had been through 4 previous marriages, there was something different about Sam, a steadiness, a quiet confidence beneath the rugged charm. Yet even as sparks flew, their relationship was far from a straightforward romance. Catherine's past was a tangled web of love and heartbreak. She had been married 4 times, each union ending in divorce, each one leaving behind its own shadow. Her first marriage, a youthful union with Joel Fabiani in 1960, ended after just 2 years. Her second, with John Marion, a brief and turbulent chapter, also collapsed. Then came Conrad Hall, a legendary cinematographer whose genius behind the camera was matched only by the complexity of their relationship. Their marriage lasted 5 years before it too crumbled. Finally, there was Gaetano Tom Lisi, whom she met on the set of The Stepford Wives. But even that partnership wasn't meant to last. By the time she and Sam found each other again, Catherine was a woman who had learned the hard way that love was fragile. Yet, despite the ghosts of failed marriages, Catherine found something in Sam that she had never quite experienced before. He was gentle but strong, patient but passionate. He was an old soul, honest, grounded, and fiercely loyal. Their relationship blossomed quietly without the whirlwind of drama that had marked her previous romances. They dated, they loved, and in 1984, they finally tied the knot, sealing a bond that has now spanned over 4 decades. For Sam, it was a moment of pure joy, but the honeymoon phase didn't last long because fate had one more twist in store. It was during their honeymoon in Hawaii that Sam was offered the opportunity of a lifetime, a role in the film Mask. At first, he hesitated. After all, he was basking in the warm glow of newlywed bliss, and the thought of leaving his wife to pursue work seemed almost unthinkable. But Catherine, ever the pragmatic and supportive partner, urged him to take the chance. "You need to go," she insisted, knowing the world they lived in, knowing how fleeting opportunities could be. And so Sam did. The film became a turning point in his career, catapulting him from a struggling actor to a star whose name carried weight. It was a moment that changed everything, and it was made possible by Catherine's unwavering belief in him. At the heart of Malibu, where the Pacific's restless waves meet the California cliffs, stands a ranch that has witnessed a love story as enduring as the rocky shores it overlooks. This is the sanctuary of Sam Elliott and Catherine Ross, a couple who have defied Hollywood's unforgiving odds for nearly half a century. Their story is not one of fleeting passions or headline-grabbing scandals, but of quiet, unwavering devotion, a love that has weathered the storms of fame and flourished in the calm of shared dreams. Their tale began like any great romance, two souls drawn together by the alchemy of fate. Sam, with his rugged baritone voice and a screen presence as solid as the American West, and Catherine, a luminous beauty who had already captured hearts in classics like The Graduate and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, were an unlikely match. They first crossed paths in the 1969 classic Butch Cassidy, though they shared no scenes. Sam was just another face in the background, while Catherine was already a star. Yet something about her captivated him. He watched her from afar, a silent admirer, never daring to imagine that their lives would one day become intertwined. It wasn't until a decade later, in 1978, on the set of the eerie thriller The Legacy, that their paths truly converged. This time, sparks flew, both on screen and off. Catherine was not just a Hollywood icon to Sam. She was a woman of depth, grace, and quiet strength. And to her, Sam was a breath of fresh air, a man of genuine charm, humility, and unwavering integrity in an industry often dominated by ego. Their romance blossomed, not in a whirlwind of paparazzi flashes, but in the quiet moments between takes, in whispered conversations, and in the shared silences that spoke louder than words. Just a year later, in 1984, they were married, beginning a journey that would become a beacon of lasting love in a world where relationships often dissolve faster than a box office flop. Then, in 1985, their love story welcomed another chapter, the birth of their daughter, Cleo Rose Elliott. With her father's rugged good looks and her mother's ethereal grace, Cleo grew up in a home where creativity flowed as naturally as the sea breeze that swept through their Malibu ranch. Sam had his scripts and roles, Catherine continued her acting, and Cleo found her voice in music, carving out a path of her own while always feeling the steady support of her parents. But life, even in the idyllic embrace of Malibu, is never without its challenges. Hollywood is a land of temptation, where egos clash and the spotlight can be both a blessing and a curse. Sam and Catherine faced the same pressures that have torn countless celebrity couples apart. Demanding careers meant time spent apart. Successes and failures came in unpredictable waves. But while others crumbled under the weight of fame, they chose to grow stronger. Sam, ever the devoted husband, spoke of Catherine with a quiet reverence, calling her the love of my life. He never shied away from acknowledging that a strong marriage is built, not simply found. "You can't give up when things get hard," he once said. "You work at it. That's how you last." Catherine, who had once been disillusioned by love after 4 failed marriages, found in Sam a steadfast partner. He wasn't just her husband, he was her anchor, the calm in the chaos of Hollywood. Together, they navigated the highs and lows of life in the spotlight, their bond tested but never broken. In 2017, they even brought their love to the screen once more in The Hero, a poignant film where Sam portrayed a fading Western star grappling with his legacy, while Catherine played his estranged ex-wife. It was a mirror of their real life, a story of resilience, second chances, and a love that endures. At their Malibu ranch, life found its own rhythm. Sam spent his days riding horses, working on his latest scripts, or simply tending to the land. Catherine, ever the gracious hostess, filled their home with warmth, laughter, and music. Cleo, a talented musician in her own right, visited often, her voice filling the house with songs that echoed the themes of love, heartbreak, and hope. an artistic inheritance from her parents. Their love is not a perfect fairy tale, but a partnership, built on trust, respect, and a deep understanding of one another. It is a love defined by whispered encouragements in the hardest of times, by gentle reassurances when doubts arose, and by the shared quiet moments on their porch, watching the sunset over the Pacific. In a world obsessed with youth and novelty, Sam and Catherine are a testament to something far more profound: the beauty of a life lived together. As the years have passed, their ranch has become more than just a home. It is a haven, a place where they can shed the weight of their Hollywood personas and simply be Sam and Catherine, husband and wife, soulmates. It is here, in this sun-drenched paradise, that they have built a life not of extravagant gestures, but of quiet devotion. They have laughed together, cried together, and grown old together. Two souls walking hand in hand through the ever-changing landscape of fame. Hollywood may have its legends, but few are as real, as enduring, or as deeply moving as the love story of Sam Elliott and Catherine Ross. Their journey is not just a chapter in the history of show business, it is a testament to the power of commitment, the strength of two hearts that chose to beat as one, and the undeniable beauty of a love that has not just survived, but flourished against all odds. As the sun dips below the Pacific horizon and the waves whisper against the shore, Sam and Catherine remain a reminder that true love is not a fleeting flame, but a steady fire, one that burns brightly, even after 40 years. In the glittering world of Hollywood, where love stories are often as fleeting as box office hits, Sam Elliott and Catherine Ross stand as a rare exception, a beacon of resilience and devotion in an industry defined by glamour, chaos, and heartbreak. For more than 4 decades, their love has weathered the fierce storms of fame and the inevitable challenges that accompany a life under the spotlight. In a place where breakups dominate headlines and quick marriages dissolve with the same speed as a film's opening weekend, Sam and Catherine's steadfast bond is nothing short of remarkable. Their secret is not some fairy tale enchantment, but a commitment forged in shared struggles, mutual respect, and an unyielding determination to make it work. Sam, with his gravelly voice and rugged charm, and Catherine, an ethereal beauty who once graced the screen in The Graduate and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, might have seemed like an unlikely match. Yet, beneath the surface of their fame, they were two souls with a profound understanding of the true nature of love, something far deeper than the glitter of red carpets or the adulation of fans. It hasn't always been easy. Like any couple, they have faced their share of hardships, career pressures, personal losses, the inevitable disagreements that come with any long partnership. But rather than allowing these challenges to drive them apart, they used them to draw closer together. "You can't give up when things get hard," Sam once said in an interview, his voice laced with the wisdom of a man who has lived through both triumphs and trials. "You work at it. That's how you last." This quiet resilience has not only strengthened their bond, but also turned their marriage into something of a Hollywood legend, a tale of two people who didn't just fall in love, but chose to stay in love over and over again. And it's not just their private lives that have been marked by this unwavering commitment. Even on screen, whether starring together in the 1978 horror film The Legacy or reuniting decades later in The Hero, their chemistry is undeniable, a mirror reflecting the depth of their real-life connection. But perhaps the most telling aspect of their enduring love is their family. Together they raised their daughter Cleo Rose Elliott, a talented musician who has carved her own path while always feeling the steady support of her parents. The Malibu ranch they call home is more than just a retreat. It is a sanctuary, a place where they can step away from the relentless glare of Hollywood and simply be themselves. In an industry obsessed with youth and novelty, Sam and Catherine's love is a testament to something far more profound: the beauty of a life lived together. Their story is not one of perfect harmony, but of perseverance, patience, and a love that has been tested and found true. In an era of disposable romances, they are a reminder that real love isn't about avoiding the storms, but about holding on through them. Hollywood may be a land of fantasy, but the love between Sam Elliott and Catherine Ross is as real as it gets, a testament to loyalty, resilience, and the kind of passion that doesn't just spark but endures.